They already kind of understand what it is that you offer. There's a reason why they're calling you out there. Like if you said your system's 14 grand on the website and you called them out, or sorry, they called you out as a company and you're out there doing the quote now, there's no sticker shock. They already know it's going to be 14 grand at least.
Please welcome America's service sales coach, Joe Crisara.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast, the show that helps home service professionals master high-value sales, build stronger client relationships, and grow their business like never before. Join industry experts as they share real strategies that drive results. If you're ready to level up your service game, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
It's the Service MVP Podcast.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast, and my name is Joe Crisara, America's Service Coach. And we have with us Mr. Marko Sipilä, who is with HVACquote.ai. Marko, welcome to the program here today.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. Super grateful.
Well, Marko does a service, which is a way to give consumers something they want. Marko, why don't I'll let you take it from here. What inspired you to start this HVACquote.ai business, and how does it help consumers and contractors? Tell us a little bit about that. What's in your heart there?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the last 5, 6 years, I've been running a marketing company, and after spending millions of dollars in Facebook ads, Google ads, and different platforms, they started to figure out what the consumers are looking for, right? What are the consumers looking for? What do the businesses want? And cost per lead, whether it's on Facebook or Google or Yelp or all these platforms, are rising. And the only people who win when cost per lead goes up is the big companies. And so we wanted to think about different ways to improve the quality of the ads, to be able to generate more leads, but also a higher quality lead that has higher intent, where it's a homeowner that's actually looking for a system replacement, and they get an idea of what a price is up front, because that's obviously what they're looking for. And so we wanted to create a platform where contractors can generate more leads, but also higher quality within Facebook and Google. And so that's why we created HVAC Quote. We started out as kind of an instant quote tool where contractors can give online estimates for their customers, whether it's on their website or in their paid social or their Facebook and Google ads. And we're kind of moving in more the direction of lead conversion, using AI to convert more leads into appointments inside of their Service Titan or House Call Pro. So I'm sure we'll dive into some of those things, but really, Joe, that's why we started this, was to help the contractor drive their cost per lead down, but their quality up. And so if we can solve those two things, I think contractors can benefit massively from that.
So this is kind of a strategy, which is to, consumers are certain what does it cost for an HVAC lead, and or just for HVAC they might even tell the contractor, yeah, you need a 5-ton system or whatever, and they say, what would it cost for a 5-ton system in Phoenix, Arizona, or whatever, and then it kind of brings them to the website of a local contractor who would have this quoting tool on their website, and then the consumer then engages stays on that web page. And so tell us about the aspect of that the visitors that are coming to that website. Let's take the client experience and see how that client experience, how it obviously benefits the consumer, but also how does the contractor benefit? So honestly, if I were to search, I'm looking for a ductless mini split system in Los Angeles, California, and it searches my area, and it has, obviously you have dynamic SEO and other tools that get us to the top to get that estimate or quote. And so when I assume it would bring more traffic that stays on the contractor's website for a while they're building this quote themselves.
Yeah.
Tell us, first of all, how does that benefit? I see how it benefits consumers because they're like actively able to kind of get a ballpark or see where, because everybody wants, hey, what's a ballpark on this stuff? I just kind of need to know before I start looking into it, right? But then how does the contractor benefit? And I know this may be a dummy question, but I want to make sure that everybody understands. What is the benefit to a consumer camping out on your website for 20 minutes while they're doing all this stuff. How does that benefit? Just start with that benefit to the contractor first. How does that work?
Yeah. So, well, it's not a stupid question. I mean, as far as the homeowners or the consumers, 78% of homeowners are looking for pricing online. And if you don't offer that, then chances are your competitor is going to get that lead anyways. And so, really the contractor's benefit is in that, right? Like if you don't do it, then you're going to lose out on jobs. If you do it, you're just going to open up a whole new realm of opportunities for your home service company. And obviously, not every one of your leads are going to come through an instant quote tool. Not every lead is going to come through that. And so, I realize that all your referral business, all your repeat business, all the people that just want to call, like pick up the phone and call, like my dad, like he's going to want to call a business. People my age or in their 30s, most of the time they want to research a company on their website, kind of figure out some information before they actually click to contact a business.
Mhm.
And one of those things that they're researching is price, right? You see Amazon did it, Tesla did it. I mean, you can buy Tesla online. And Google is moving that direction now, where Google now just released an online pricing filter inside of their platform. And so if you're on Google, I'll just share my screen here, and you search HVAC companies Phoenix. If I just search this very easy keyword, at the very top, you see where it says online estimates. And so when people toggle that on now, it's going to filter all of the businesses that are actually doing pricing online. Okay, so Collins Comfort has an online estimate feature, Arizona Trade Master, Alaskan Air Conditioning and Heating. So all of these are examples of businesses doing online pricing because homeowners are looking for it and Google's showing to us that that's what people are looking for. And so why not be the source of the truth, right? Instead of the homeowner going to ChatGPT or Gemini and searching how much does it cost to replace my unit, why don't you be the source of that truth? That's what we're asking contractors to do.
Get that. Now, obviously this is going to lead to consumers spending more time looking at eyeballs on your company. I'm going to take that down for a second. I want everybody to come to the next Total Immersion, the life-changing event where you increase your sales and your personal growth. What should we do? Bring it back up again as you need it. So this is going to lead more people to spend more time there. Is there any benefit? Does Google or whoever is AI or anybody able to see that the traffic doesn't just go there and leave? It goes there and stays for a while. Does that benefit it? So getting more people there, obviously, probably Google can see that this is a resource for consumers and that we should push it to the top better. And then how about the amount of time that's spent there? Is there any benefit to that as opposed to people staying for 4 seconds and leaving or whatever?
Yeah. So we are seeing time on page go up. So, in Google Analytics, you'll see the average time on page go up when people are filling out a form because it requires them to enter in some of their information. They're researching the good, better, best pricing for their ACE unit that they have. And so, naturally a homeowner is going to spend a little bit more time on your website, which is going to raise your SEO game. So with SEO, it's all about time on page. It's all about, are you answering the consumer's questions? Are they getting answers to their questions on your website? And if they don't, then what happens is they bounce and they go to somebody else's site. And that's not good for SEO. Like if people are bouncing and they go to your competitor, well, that's a signal that your website's not as good as somebody else's. And so definitely, I mean, time on page is through the roof.
I guess it's kind of similar if you went shopping for a flat screen TV at Best Buy and you spent 2.5, 3 hours looking at flat screens. You're probably not going to have enough energy to continue going somewhere else. You're like, I think we've seen enough flat screens. Let's just get this one and get it delivered. Let's go have lunch or whatever. So I think that's kind of like the amount of time spent there is less. I think that's a really good point there. Less time searching for other people. Because if I just start searching everybody and then putting it into, I've seen these lead aggregators which say looking for an HVAC quote, and then it just has people bombarding you with phone calls. You've seen that before too, that method of marketing where There's
Mhm.
aggregators who just pour a ton of contractors in, and then they sell the quote to the contractor at that point. You've seen that before too, right? And that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And this kind of
Yeah.
way, you're kind of owning the quote machine, and you're keeping everything in house now, rather than sharing the lead with other contractors. You're not going to get five contractors. You're going to get one contractor with five different estimates, or three different
Yeah.
estimates, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. So tell us, after the consumer, so you do some stuff where you're going through the thing. If you want to show us again, what are some of the things that you're asking consumers to do when they get in there? When can you give us a little bit of a idea about what the consumer experience is like then? So that it's not just like, hey, you don't got to size your own unit. Tell us a little bit about how they know the right size they're looking for and all that kind of stuff. I go put you back up there again. Sorry, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead
No,
and
you're good.
go and show us this. How does this? How does like this consumer get the right price with the size being correct and all that kind of stuff? I just wanted to clear that up for other contractors who might be wondering something like that.
Yeah. So what typically happens is we have two different ways of going about it. I'll kind of break it down. So this is a customer of ours. So if I click on their website,
Hmm.
you'll want to have call to actions. So at the very top, you can have instant quote up here. In their case, they have it right here front and center on the homepage of their website where it says instant online quote.
It's great. Yeah.
Homeowners are going to click on that. And then once they land on the landing page that actually has the instant quote tool by
Mm.
HVAC quote just directly embedded on their WordPress website,
Hmm.
whether you're on Scorpion, House Call Pro website, WordPress, Wix, there's all these different website builders. It makes it super easy for you to just embed it directly on there. The homeowner is going to fill out their address. So they'll just put in their address right into here. There's two versions. We have a version where they don't put in the address. This one, they put in the address. The other version is where they actually build the system. So I'll kind of show you this one first. So customer is going to select, okay, it's gas or electric, and then they're going to select like where their unit is, whether it's in the attic, closet, or garage.
Hmm.
The system's automatically going to know the square footage of that home.
Mm.
Let's say, for example, Joe Schmo here at this address, remodeled his house and he has an extra 1,500 square feet. Well, you
Hmm.
can actually change this to make it to whatever square footage it needs to be.
I get
But
it. You can actually
um,
you can modify it if you want to. I get that's good.
you can modify it, and the
Mm.
quote is only as good as what you input, right?
For
So if I
sure.
pull up another example here, this is a company locally here in Phoenix, where I'm from. So if I click on their website and at the very top here, you click Instant AC Quote. And on this version, you can see we have water heater quote tool as well. You're going to select, okay, heating and cooling, gas or electric, same thing, split system. Okay, is it attic, garage, or closet?
Hmm.
And then in this version, there's basically tier system. So
I
it's
get
based
it.
on
So it's a
tier.
different way of instead of inputting it, you can just select one.
Correct, yeah.
Pretty cool.
And once the customer fills out this form, which is basically an intake form, you're
Yep.
getting their
Yep.
name, the email, phone number, the address. They're going to land on a page that's going to show you the good, better, best system.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? So it's going to look similar to this. And the contractor can fully customize everything here. So the images, the financing details, what the price is. So they
Hmm.
can input their price book based on the back end of like their heating and cooling system or
I
water
get it.
heater,
Yeah.
whatever systems they offer. Maybe they do Daikin or maybe they use Lennox. Then you can update the images too. So you can update what the picture actually shows here. If
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
select a mini split, it shows a mini split, so on and so forth.
That's cool. Now, on this part here, these are prices are is what the consumer is picking out. Now, when you talk to the business and the people in the business, how do they pivot from this to the reality? Because obviously, you might go there and see that like they may not have selected a duct system, for instance, and then you may find out the ductwork has raccoons shoot through the ductwork or whatever. And then
Mhm.
there's got to be a pivot. So tell us, I mean, that's what I train on, honestly, is that
Yeah.
it's telling people problems that they didn't realize they had. So they're giving this quote. So I kind of see the logic in it. The consumer is getting a quote just on the equipment, thinking that everything else is cool. And of course, the contractor goes in and says, well, actually, your ductwork is undersized, or it's got raccoons and going into the supply duct work, or you had the moisture damage or insulation fell apart, and so now there's additional stuff. And I guess that's where I come in, where they would say, Joe, it's actually worse than I thought. With the system, put the system in, it wouldn't work with the ductwork you have, and so I do have solutions I redid to take the equipment you did and put it into this other thing that would do that. Is that kind of what you're doing? Kind of like almost like a lead turnover, right? Like here's the basic thing, and if you want to upgrade it, we have to get the job done right. Here's all the other things that are needed that you couldn't calculate without seeing the house. The gas, we have to run all new gas pipe, or we have to run all new duct work or whatever. So is that the way contractors are positioning it? Like, this is good job. You got that's a good system. Which one you like? I like the middle one.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go take a
Yeah.
look at the system and confirm it can be put in. Is that kind of like what we're looking at there?
As you know, I mean, you're the king of HVAC sales, right? So you understand the idea of like giving options, and you've been preaching that for a while. So we're really big on that too. Is like, hey, like you don't want to have just one option. People feel like they're limited, and really each contractor is different. But as you can see from the medley heating and air conditioning I gave you, or the example I gave you there,
Mhm.
they have a very big range. So from the good, better, best, like there's a $10,000 range,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's plenty of range given to where the homeowner feels comfortable. They're like, oh, okay, I got what I'm looking for. I'm kind of in this range or this idea of price. Now I'm a little bit curious, a little bit more. Okay, what is it exactly going to be? And that's where when the CSR calls them and books that into an appointment, then the technician goes out there, runs the appointment, and really fits either the system that they selected or just puts them into the right system based on, the education.
Yeah.
We don't see a world, to be honest with you, Joe. There's some people in this industry where think that, you're going to be able to buy an AC unit online. We're not really moving in that direction. I think people are getting a little bit ahead of themselves, right? Like, what if somebody buys the wrong unit, right? And then now all of a sudden you're having
Yeah,
to
yeah. Well,
refund.
the early adopters or the early pioneers of what you're doing uh, made it sound like that. Honestly, that was the mistake when they brought it to market. There was other people who I know actually very well, but the mistake they made, I think, was when they brought it to the contract. It's like, yeah, give your quote online. Everybody's doing it online, and it's like, dude, that's not going to be all the technician inside of us is like, dude, that's not going to be accurate. That's silly, So I think it's a point which bears repeating over and over is that you're not going to buy an air conditioning unit online, no, but
Yeah.
you will give the consumers what they want. It's sort of like here's the different things that are available. And then we have to come and look at the rest of it too, because the system itself, the equipment is only a small percentage of the whole picture. It's got the control system, the duct system, the air quality system. It probably is 25% of the picture. And so you're giving them that piece, which gets them started, and then you come in and show the rest of it.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
you
kind
still
of
want
like
margin, right? Like
what?
contractors still want to make money. And so, you don't want to race to the bottom and be the cheapest guy, obviously. And it still requires, fitting the sales call or whatever you want to call it, consultation or whatever people call it nowadays. But really, this is a platform to help people convert, their leads into
I
appointments.
completely understand that. And I know that how many years you've been working on this project for, Marco?
It's been almost a couple years now.
2 years now. But I mean, every time you go to a trade show, and I met you, we were adjoining booths at a trade show at one of the trade shows we went to together. It was a great time we had together there, and we both we were on social media together, so it was great. We did a little mini interview with each other and stuff like that. That was great. But I think a lot of the misconception is that this, like, you probably get the negativity, like, you're not going to get an accurate quote online. It's like, Joe, we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to get the lead in your company. That's what we're trying to
Yeah.
do. And so how much practice have you had to kind of like deflect some of the negativity that some contractors have? I think it's based on the original the original concept that went to market, which is that, yeah, you're going to get a quote online, which isn't really accurate, honestly, there. So tell us about how you overcome that negativity with contractors, the skeptical mind that this is going to be any good. Tell us a little bit about how that works. What do you do
Yeah.
about that?
Really, the biggest objections are, number one, why do we want to do pricing? It's just going to scare people away.
Mm.
That show that we went to, the Service World, were right next to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
We had a client come up to us. It's a company called Aim High HVAC of
Mhm.
Denver, Colorado. They sold a $27,000 replacement job in the first week of using the quote tool.
Mhm.
And so like it's guys like that that realize that homeowners are looking for a price, they're looking for at least a range. Homeowners understand that you can't give an exact price on an AC unit, but let's be honest, we can at least give a range. And so, using a tool like HVAC, well, you can set up your pricing in 10, 15 minutes. It's nothing crazy. You set up a range. The whole idea, like you were saying earlier, is to capture the lead. And so that way you get a higher quality lead and a higher quality appointment for your business. And your techs are going to love running these type of appointments too. Like if you get them a bunch of appointments through this tool, they're going to love running those type
Mhm.
of leads in their business as well. Another objection we get is, what happens after, right? Like after you generate a lead, what happens after? And we want to make sure that all of their, whoever's running that appointment, whoever's calling that appointment gets that. So if it's a CSR, the lead needs to be put into HVAC quote. Instantly, it starts getting automation following up with that lead. And so no lead goes untouched. And so we call it new lead follow-up. When a new lead
Mhm.
comes in, you want to follow up with that lead consistently before anybody else does. And or you could call it speed to lead. Some people call it speed
Mhm.
to lead too,
Mhm.
to convert more of your leads into appointments. But people want to know, like, okay, what happens then?
Yeah,
And
yeah, I get
the
that.
whole idea is to have your CSR call, book the appointment, and you guys can go out there and close it.
I really like that. I really like what you're doing there. And I think to me, transparency is really the thing that consumers all want. Like, if you can't show me what you got, then what are you hiding from me, right? Like
Right.
so the contractors who don't have it, I guess you look at it like, well, what are they hiding if they don't even put their pricing out there? What are they hiding from you? Give you a kind of a unique, you're kind of giving people a built-in unique selling proposition where other contractors who don't have this, they're kind of lacking that proposition. Does that make sense, sir? And and
Yeah.
I think it is incumbent on people like us at Service MVP to transition from the lead coming in to creating that relationship, looking at the ductwork, the control system, the gas, whatever you're looking at. You're saying, oh, we're going to look at everything, and then we're going to give you your quote on the equipment. It stands firm, but we can apply that to the rest of the things we would need here to make it work. And I don't think that any space age 2026 equipment is going to fit into some ductwork from 1985.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to do some modification and things that, it's not an exact fit. So you got to say, hey, we have to
There's going to be some
do
fitting.
further modifications, and it's only going to be like $19 a month more if you did that.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
a thing there. So I think that's the part about that I think people miss, and that the client, I feel, gets a transparent experience from start to finish. And so just to make sure that we're clear, the actual contractor, when he presents the solution he purchased online to the consumer, he still has familiar looking equipment. Everything he chose is there. We're just going to put on a different presentation using Service Titan or whatever software you use, Airship or whatever you're using to quote this thing to people so that they can actually get the quote that includes everything. And
Right.
maybe
Right.
even the bottom three would just be the equipment only, and maybe the top three would have the ductwork and the air quality and whatever else they didn't know about. Is that kind of it? Because I love the fact that it's got three options. What I'm seeing there is a great way of doing it because you're not going too far. And that's about right because you're about 50% of this thing is the equipment, and the rest of it is everything else. So let me give you all the options, which I create six options for people is my thing, which would be twice as many as that, and which makes sense, right? Because you're adding the ductwork, the control system, the electrical, and all the power supply and the stuff like that. To me, it's really a brilliant concept, and I really like it. So,
Yeah.
Marco, tell us about the level of success contractors are experiencing. So you can give us, obviously, I know the guy from Texas Medley. Him and I, we've had some great discussions and very, very, some challenging discussion. He's definitely a free spirit who thinks for himself. So he's not the kind of guy you could talk into something. A guy like that has to sell himself. So tell us about what guys like Texas Medley are thinking, or what they're thinking after they now have the quote tool. Tell us some stories. I like the thing
Yeah.
about 27,000 in the first week. That's obviously a great get. And now people go from this is a new thing to now it's a normal thing. Tell us how that
Right.
has been
Yeah.
normalized.
Online pricing, used to be kind of a new thing like you're talking about, and now it's becoming normalized. And, you're starting to go to a lot of websites across the industry, and they have some sort of fashion of, online pricing, which is cool to see because, obviously we're not the only person doing this and there's different options. But, and really what it comes down to is like, why are we doing it in the first place? And what we're noticing is people coming to us, Joe, we run 20 to 25 demos a day. And, when we're running these demo calls, we get everything from like, oh, we want more leads. We want higher quality leads. I see you guys do online pricing. Google just released an online pricing feature. And so like now we want to like participate in that, similar to like online booking back in 2015. When online booking became a thing, it was a big deal, right? People were like,
Mhm.
oh, you need to do this for your service side, your tune-ups. People can schedule online.
Right, right.
And it really is. Like you want to have as many options as possible for homeowners to reach out to you. That's the whole thing here. Like you shouldn't just have a one-page lander with your phone number because you're going to miss out on a bunch of other leads that would have filled out a form or filled out an instant quote tool or whatever. So our philosophy is why not have all the options? Make it super easy for homeowners to reach out to you, make it easy for them to shop with you, make it easy for them to build trust with you too, and build off of transparency.
And then
And
and on the back end, you have a lead tracking tool to make sure that whatever did come in, you can see what if the investment that it took to get this lead, whether it was paid or a CO or whatever, is you're able to see transparently what happened to all the stuff that came through this thing here, right? What are you finding about the leads that come through this versus ones that just come through the phone or something like that? Have you noticed anything or studies, any kind of studies on that or stuff you could tell us there? Well, if it
with
comes
the
through this compared to they just make a phone call or whatever, what would be the difference in the quality of the lead or the closing rate or anything like that? Could you have anything you could
yeah,
share, sir?
we have a couple different data points. Number one is that you're going to have a 2x better lead, so you're going to be able to close at almost up to 2x higher closing rate
So if you're
than
closing at like say, I think the average is about 25%, I would say.
yeah.
You're now going to close at 50% by doing
Yeah.
something like this. I'm like,
Naturally, because they've already got a price from you. They already kind of understand what it is that you offer. There's a reason why they're calling you out there. Like if you said your system's 14 grand on the website and you called them out, or sorry, they called you out as a company and you're out there doing the quote now, there's no sticker shock. They already know it's going to be 14 grand at least. So if you come in at 14.5 or 15 grand, like it's not a big jump and people, can understand like the things maybe you got to fit the system. Maybe there's a certain thing like you're saying
Yeah,
they need.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting that some contractors would think that, oh, they're going to get scared off when they see the price. But honestly, if that was the case, we'd be scared off at every time we saw a car in the showroom, right? We'd be like, it's like, oh my God, 42,000 for that car. We just like, well, once they get used to the price, you kind of gets the customer a chance to get acclimated to the price and kind of price conditions them at that point, I'd say. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree with that?
It becomes easier to close same day appointments too. So
Because
like,
they're already prepared to buy for it. But to me, it's like there's a book called Wamish. Have you ever heard of this book called "Why Are You Making It So Hard to Do Business?" It's kind of an acronym for that. Why are you making it so hard to do business is the finishing line on it. And I think this makes it super easy to do business with. And I do think it does take some training and some pivoting with the team to make sure that everybody understands how that is going to take place. And I definitely have actually, Service MVP, we develop a lot of tools for this. So we should talk about this because we actually specialize in taking online quote tools. I just never thought about reaching out to you about it, but honestly, we do have a special program that shows here's how you pivot from this to this. So it's not just the same thing you had before. Now you
yeah,
can congratulate the customer for making the work to do the research on their own and give them a boost their self-esteem for making the effort and the for their family and all that part of it. And then you transition to the rest of it and the diagnosing the rest of the system. But
yeah.
and the lead tracking we're talking about, you guys have a robust lead tracking tool. That's right. Correct in that part too?
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'll share my screen one more time
Sure, go
here.
ahead. Yeah.
And don't forget, to remind people, we'll give people access to the 5-hour marketing training course too, just for tuning in
Nice.
with us here.
A
Like I was
5 hour
saying,
marketing training course you're going to give us?
yeah. We have an entire 5-6 hour marketing course. Kind of pull the curtains back. What HVAC companies are doing to win, whether it's on
Hmm.
Google, Facebook. We'll just give it to you guys for free. Anybody listening, we'll give that away.
Got it. Got it.
So really, like you're saying about the lead tracking and everything. So pillar one is instant quotes. Pillar two is speed to lead. So
Hmm.
obviously, the more speed you have, the more sales you're going to get. You want to be first every time, and 78% of your leads book with the business that replies first. And
Hmm.
so when somebody reaches out to you, you want to have an instant automated response, some sort
Got
of
it.
autoresponder, right? Whether that's SMS, email.
Yeah.
Obviously, your team needs to be notified, but as soon as the lead comes in, you need to respond to those leads. And so HVAC Quote makes it super easy for you to send a text message, send an email directly after a lead comes into the platform. And so that way you're following up automatically with these people, and you could book those appointments at a higher rate.
Good, good. That makes great. That's good. Well, honestly, Marco, definitely, and tell us about the service that people get, about the price book getting put into the software, and how much of a burden is this going to put on the contractor to do extra work to activate this? And how long would you say it takes from the time somebody starts up to the time where they're actually using this tool on their website? How many months have to go back to be able to
Yeah.
get that done?
It's funny you say how long or what's the stress, right? Signing up for new softwares is never
And never
fun,
using it. I mean, the
right?
biggest fear is I buy software and we never take it out of the box, honestly.
Yeah,
That's the biggest
yeah,
cost, right? I wait
yeah.
6 months. I've had, like, actually, I know people who had Service Titan for 2 years and they never even got it started.
Mhm.
So, I'm saying, I know
Yeah.
that's what that.
So realistically, we've actually timed it a couple times. So it typically, 15 to 20 minutes to set your pricing up. So it's nothing crazy. It makes it super easy in the back end. And so like for each unit type, split system, package unit, water heaters, if you do water heaters, we built an instant quote tool for water purification in generators. So electrical
Mhm.
companies that do generators, we have quote tools for those built as well.
Nice, nice.
But it's super easy. So obviously your price book, you're going to pull that up, and you'll input your pricing for each of the unit types,
Hmm.
and then you're going to set your range. So maybe you want your range at 10% or 15%, or maybe you want a little bit tighter. You can move it all the way down to 1%. So you can make it super small range or a bigger range. And
Hmm.
really, that's going to give you the flexibility of like when you do go and do the appointment, the
Yeah,
bigger the
yeah,
range, the more like lenient you could get
yeah. It
with
fits
that.
between you got a bigger window to hit rather than a small one, for sure.
Yeah. So it's super quick setup. It takes 5 minutes to get on your website as long as you have your website credentials. Typically, Joe, it's like, okay, if you can get your website credentials, if you can get your CRM credentials, if you have access to those two things, you could get this set up in the next 30 minutes.
Wow. Now, you already have equip manufacturers relationships, so they have the equipment in there already, or do they have to bring their own stuff in? How does that work?
Typically, they'll put in their own stuff. So let's say they have Daikin or they sell Lennox or
Hmm.
whatever. Like they'll put in pictures that they have. We do have template pictures in there already, so they can just keep those in there. Or if they want to, create a better experience for their customers, then they could put in the exact specs that they have for each of their unit types. And so you could go a little bit further into it and probably spend an hour or so looking at all of those and uploading custom images for each type or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, I think it's overrated images. I think it's an air conditioning unit. It's not like
yeah, people aren't going to notice the difference between.
it's not like it's not like you're buying a inside of a car or whatever. You're getting something most times it's just comfort is unseen. So there are some interesting things there. Well, Marco,
Yeah.
they always say a good podcast starts on time and a great one ends on time. What kind of gift are you going to give our listeners again one more time?
So anybody
How do they
who,
pick that up from you?
yeah, no, anybody in here, anybody Joe. Honestly, I mean, we love you. We love everything you guys are about, and anybody that wants to get access to this 5-hour marketing training course. Again, there's no catch. Like, just put your email in the chat, or we'll put a link down there somewhere. and you guys can fill it out, and we'll give you access to the 5-hour marketing training course going over Facebook ads, Google ads, kind of showing instant quotes, what people are doing, and really just pulling the curtains back. And if you want to boost your own ads, or you want to run your own Facebook ads, or understand what your marketing agency is doing in the first place, this training will just kind of show you all of that.
Nice. Well, Marko, thank you so much for being part of the Service MVP podcast. Everybody else, we will see you on the next podcast, everyone. Thank you, everyone.